Hello everyone, I'm DonTheCrown, and today I want to talk about honing in Tier 3 and kind of like the strategy for when you use your anti-fail materials, because you're going to find yourself going up against pretty low percentages pretty quickly while you're leveling up. And to give you a little bit of context, I've pushed up to 1382 so far, so I kind of feel like I know what I'm talking about, especially since I haven't turned any royal crystals into gold, and this is all stuff that I've earned myself and nobody's really been mailing me mad amount of materials. And to put it simply, on your armor, you want to basically use almost no anti-fail materials, and on your weapons, I like to just completely full juice it every single time, because it's going to cost you a lot more per swing at a weapon. But if we're going to break it down a little bit, we can do that. Now, to talk a little bit about why you want to push up to 1370, well, the Argos raid is coming out, I believe, tomorrow. And so to get into the first part of that, you have to be 1370. Now in Lost Ark, they talk about phases of a boss, and pretty much what that means is that that is the first fight in the raid encounter. So Argos, for example, has 3 phases to it, and you fight Argos all 3 phases, but that's like the first phase, and you get loot when you beat the first phase. Now Argos is a little bit weird because you can't actually like beat the first phase and then come back with a different group for phase 2, which is like kind of some other Legion raids can do that. And so you kind of have to like do it all in one go, which is a little bit scary and a little bit not so great. But the different breakpoints for that, I believe, are 1370, 1385, and 1400 to do the last phase. And the thing with 1370 is you can actually go out and do the hard mode Ori as well Abyss dungeon. So you can see here the different hard modes basically that are filling up here, and then normal and hard share the same lockout. So if you run normal mode during the week, you're not going to be able to do hard mode at all, and hard mode gives you the ability to make these legendary pieces of gear, and you make them over here at the Abyss vendor just like so. And the little bit of a difference here compared to other tiers is that once you get your purple gear up to plus 15, it's going to be 1370, and then you're going to transfer that on to your legendary gear, and the legendary gear is not going to be plus 15, it's not going to be plus 1 either, it's going to be plus 6, but still at the item level 1370, and then you get to hone that up again, and your odds are actually really nice for a while. You get like 60% chance on some of the stuff, and it's pretty easy to push past 1370 on these pieces. But once you get up to like plus 11 here, we're back looking at some not so great honing odds on these pieces. So we're at about 15% chance, which is pretty much what you experience as you go up through 1370. Now, if we went through my strategy where you basically are just going to be using anti-fail on your weapon, this will take you quite a bit of swings. You're probably going to end up maybe pitying a few pieces. As you can see here right now, I'm getting about 7% artisan energy on the first fail here, but I've kind of done a little bit of math, and I don't really want to get into the super detailed math because it's a lot of math, but there's some kind of mathematical breakpoints at which you're going to have a confidence of having less swings taken. And so at 15% chance, it's likely going to take me about 15 swings. Now, this doesn't really account for the fact that when you fail, your chances go up. And so if I fail a 15%, the next chance will be increased by 1.5%. But this kind of is just what I use as kind of a, not really a rule of thumb, but just kind of a general idea for increasing my odds. And so I can see here that if I go from 15 to 18, it's going to cost me basically 3 less swings. And if I go up 4%, it'll go up to like, 4 less swings. And so you kind of have to figure out like how much is the cost of a swing for you right now. If you're up in, using greater leap stones, these are about 600 gold a pop, or maybe 700 gold by now. So that's quite a bit of money compared to spending some solar graces on this. Also, you need to look and see what are the kind of returns on these right now. And so you notice that solar graces are giving me 0.21 each, blues are giving me 0.42, and then purples are giving me 1.25. And so what this means is that blues are twice as effective as greens, and then purples are 6 times as effective as greens. But if you go in the market here, you'll notice that they don't come out to the same values. So purples are over 10 times as expensive, and blues are 2 times as expensive. So it kind of makes sense to go and buy, you know, some of these greens and use them pretty aggressively since they're cheaper and more effective than the other ones. Now, the price of this might change. You need to double check. Things might be different if you're playing on EU, but I'm going to go take a swing here at my weapon. My glove. I wish I could take a swing at my weapon. I don't have the materials for it right now. If we use up all the purples here, that's going to put me at 20%, which means that on average, it's going to be 11 swings. So I'm going to push this up to 21, which gives me 10 average swings. And I'm just assuming the greens are part of the price of doing business, and this is really great for the YouTube video. So we're definitely not going to do a new cut. But as you can see, this brings my item level up to 1400. And if you have 3 pieces of plus 12, and you can only make 3 pieces off your first Abyss dungeons, then you'll be able to get, I believe, all the way up to 1385 with just 3 pieces like that. So now we're 1383.3. We need to get lucky on our weapon or our shoulders, or maybe our gloves again. Now, one thing to note is that my silver is getting really, really low. And so if you're doing low pang dailies, that is really, really good on your alts to do silver. Also, Chaos Dungeon on your alts does give silver. And just don't spend your silver at all rolling gems. Like, do not spend your silver rolling gems. If you think you have a lot of silver, just know that, like, I've burned millions and millions of silver getting to this point. Silver is very, very uncommon right now. And so unless in the new login reward, there is silver available and a lot of it, don't spend your silver unless you're upgrading materials. Hope this video helped. Let me know if you guys have any comments in the questions below. And yeah, come by the stream. We're probably live right now. See ya.